Hello, welcome to another FingerNailFixer video. In this video, let's make a fun holiday design using Swarovski Crystalpixies and Wildflowers butter paints. Start off with 2 layers of your favorite gel polish color. In this case, I'm using C&D Shellac Luxe in Boheme. And cure each of those layers of color, then apply your top coat and cure the top coat. Once you have done so, go ahead and clean the top of the nail with your 99% isopropyl alcohol. Now that the nail has been cleansed and you have a completely finished color and top coat, we can go ahead and add to the design. Using the Wildflowers butter paint in green, go ahead and use a dotting tool or stylus to give a rough outline to where you want the wreath to be. Just kind of dotting it on is fine because a wreath is going to have a lot of texture. You'll notice in dotting it on that it gets a little on the thick side from the dotting, so you can always come in and use a small piece of sponge to kind of spread the paints out a little bit. I like to tear off pieces of cosmetic sponge so that they have a rough edge, which gives it a little more texture. Just gently dab the paint with the sponge to really just spread it out a little bit so that it will dry faster. Otherwise, it could take quite a while for it to dry if we leave it on there too thick. Sometimes the sponging gets a little out of control if you have a thicker amount of paint than you realize. Just go in with a little bit of alcohol to clean that up. You can use a pad or a brush or a clean piece of sponge, whichever suits you to do that. And keep in mind that the wreath doesn't need to be perfect. It's just a rough outline to go under the Crystalpixies so that it gives you an idea where you want to lay the top coat and sprinkle the pixies in. Give that paint plenty of time to dry. This design would be ideal for accent nails, so you have time to work on something else while that dries. Then use a nice thick gel polish top coat. In this case, I'm going to use the C&D Shellac Duraforce. Again, with the stylus or dotting tool, just dotting some of that top coat onto the wreath where we've done the outline with the butter paint. Putting that top coat on, you do not want to cure it. You just want to kind of dot it around where the nail already has that green in place. And in dotting it on, you're going to have kind of irregular or kind of fuzzy lines, which is just fine because a wreath is not perfectly smooth. Once you finish applying that top coat, leave it wet. Set down a tray to catch your Crystalpixies and put something soft in the bottom of the tray like gauze or a piece of paper towel or a piece of table towel so that your Crystalpixies don't bounce as much out of the tray when you're pouring them. Then gently pour the Crystalpixies right onto that top coat. I like to just barely tap the jar so that little bits of them come out at a time. And the closer you hold the finger to the tray that you're pouring over, the less bounce out you're as likely to have, so you don't lose as many of your Crystalpixies. And just keep turning the nail while you pour the Crystalpixies to make sure that you're getting them in all the spots. Then you can use a dry detailing brush to kind of press the pixies into the top coat, as well as press the top coat in if you're kind of have any irregular bulges. Maybe you got it a little thicker on one side than the other, and you just want to tuck that in a little bit with the brush. Notice it's very gentle tucks. It's not really getting in there and aggressively cleaning up the edges. It's just kind of gently pressing things into place the way that you would like for them to be. Once you have things pressed in and you have kind of pressed the Crystalpixies down into the top coat, go ahead and pour a little bit over the top in case you missed any spots. Turn the finger over and tap off any excess and then cure the top coat for the recommended amount of time. You end up with this really amazing textured and sparkly holiday wreath for the nails. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial for a fun crystal pixie design and that you'll click thumbs up as well as subscribe so that you can be notified for future videos. Thank you!